talk to you about that boy.
They've come for you. Hello?
I'm already getting emotional about this movie because we know how the story ends. Please welcome actor Jalyn Hall. Jalyn, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Wow. Jalyn, let's just dive right in. First of all, congratulations on your starring role. And this is a very important story in our history. We were talking about Kanye West and how he kind of dismissed George Floyd's murder. Do you have an opinion on what he's saying? Because you're playing a huge figure in civil rights history, in our history, actually.
Yes.
Black history.
Yes, for sure. Based off the movie, I've learned a lot about, Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie, but more so about, the catalyst for activism that she was, and that history often goes unsung. It's something that isn't taught or said enough, but it's history that inspired all those who changed our community for the better. Martin, Rosa, and she isn't acknowledged a lot. And I feel like that's the sort of history that you want the world to know about. And I feel like with the new history that he's bringing upon us, it's just like very, it's setting us back. I can definitely say that, because this is the type of stuff I'm exposed to. This is the type of stuff, hey, Jalyn, bro, did you just see what, Kanye said? But it's not, hey, Jalyn, bro, did you know that such and such is the reason why we can vote, or the reason, things like that. And I feel like, I feel like his choices are just, really have a negative impact on us as a community, and especially a younger nation, because with him being like, music and his clothing, a lot of, I feel like us as a younger kids can be influenced just by, the hype and like, the clothes and stuff. But I'm really hoping, I heard what y'all said about him getting better, but, I'm.
Jalyn, at 15 years old, you're far more articulate and thoughtful than this grown man is behaving right now. And I got to give you your props. We need more people like you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes,
Jalyn,
my God.
Before we talk more about the film, I want to know from you, because, mostly all of us have acted before. And what was your inspiration to become an actor?
Man, so from a really young age, I just knew I was going to be on the TV. I didn't know how I was going to get into it. I didn't know if I would jump into it, I'd be in the TV. But it was just like, it's always been that, that childhood dream. And then when I was 7, I went to a performing arts training camp, and I just fell in love with like the atmosphere, because I'm the first in my family to ever do this, so I didn't know nothing about it. I was just,
and look at you now in a film, with that's about an important figure in our history, that you're going to be able to educate your generation about this amazing story. And starring with Whoopi Goldberg, Oscar winner. Like,
yes.
We're so proud of you, young man.
Thank you so much.
Jalyn, how did you feel when you found out, when you got the call back and they were like, you got the role, of Emmett Till. Like, this role you're about to do is going to go down in history.
Yes.
How did you feel when they called you and told you that you got the role?
So during the audition process, it wasn't until I think my second audition that I figured out what it was for. And then that's when that kind of, that realization, because the first one, they gave me some sides that were in the movie, but like the name was different. So I wouldn't have known, what it was for. So when I figured out what it was for, it was that, like, of course, that initial setting, this is very crucial and important to our history, our Black history. So this is something that you can't, every project that I go into, I do 100%, but this is one of those things where you have to give your complete self to. So when they actually told me that I got the job, they didn't actually tell me. I thought I was going in for another callback. They were like, okay, meet here. I was remembering my lines. I was getting my notes. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Wait, man. I get in there. We're having a conversation. I was like, oh man, okay, we must be having a conversation. And then we go into, reading the script. And then they're still talking. I'm like, wait, you're talking to me like I got this, I got the part. And they're like, oh yes, would you like to be our Emmett? And I was like, my
Uh,
heart just dropped right there.
Wow.
My mom was with me. My mom was crying. I shed some tears. We got up and we started dancing. I danced with Danielle, who plays with mom, Mamie. And it was just such a pure moment. And I was just so thankful. I am thankful.
That's
Did you
awesome.
know about the story before that you got an opportunity to play the part?
Yeah, so kind of, the surface information, it was told to me from a younger age than what I am now, as kind of a cautionary tale, a means to prevent something like that if ever happening to me. So yeah, I just kind of knew like the overall gist and the turn of events, but going into this role, going into filming, it changed my entire outlook. It changed it, and I learned in depth about these two human beings.
Of course you did. Of course you did. And so I heard you say that you give 100% on every project. So is this your first starring role?
In a movie like this, yes.
Okay, so do you feel any pressure playing such an important person in American history?
Oh man, a lot of I get that question a lot. But for me, it wasn't any pressure. I felt so welcoming to the responsibility and the honor to be able to be the one to give this 14-year-old boy who's so crucial to our history and changed so many of our lives a voice that he essentially never had. And that was just such an honor for me.
And did you also hear, and ladies, I don't know you if you've heard this or not, but the actual woman that accused him, Emmett, of she actually came forth, and I believe she's like 80 years old.
Did.
She came forth and said that she lied.
Yep.
And she wanted to, at this age, she still wanted to release herself. But no prosecution, no investigation, no slap on the wrist, no nothing, just
exactly.
So I'm glad that you're telling this story so everyone will be able to see what you now know as well, even in your generation. Congratulations.
It's such a miscarriage of justice when, we're digging up all these other old stories and prosecuting people. Jalyn, you work with a stellar cast, including Whoopi Goldberg and Sean Patrick Thomas. Did you learn anything from them, or what'd you take away from working with them?
Really, every day was a teachable moment. Not all the time. For me, not a lot of things can be, are taught to me through like word of mouth or like verbally or lecturing. It's really just through, the way they carry themselves and their work ethic. And, Whoopi's like a person, and an icon that when you see, you're like, yo, like, that's Whoopi Goldberg. You feel what I'm saying? She... When I was around her, she never made it feel like that. None of them did. Such amazing actors and such decorated actors. But it's always one thing that I always learn or gain from being around any great actor is the humbleness and the modesty. Being modest, and that's just one of the things that I carry with me everywhere I go, and everything that I do, and just, learning, absorbing everything I can from them, especially Danielle. She is an actor that, really entangles her soul in everything that she does, especially this, with it being such heavy material and really emotionally, jarring. And I was just amazed at all the work that everybody put in, and it really changed me for the better.
Watching the trailer and seeing, we've only seen the horrific pictures of Emmett and then a smiling picture when he was alive, right? And the in-between and the personality, you forget that this was a young boy, and to see you, like, I'm already feeling some kind of way, because we all know how the story ends. You know what I mean? Like seeing, like, we don't think about this being a young boy and wanting to play with his friends and having and all these kind of things. And the fact that, what do you want your generation to take away from this movie?
So, everybody's going to take away something unique to them, that changes them in a way only they know. But as far as my generation, I feel like it's the education of it all. Mm-hmm. This was something that I learned myself through this process. And not a lot of people will be able to say they were so vastly educated because they were working on the movie.
That's right.
So the education, this is not something that I was taught in schools.
Okay.
This is not something that this is information that will help you grow. And I thankfully got the chance to do that when going through this. But hopefully after viewing this, even if, the younger generation, because I know, what I'm saying, a little bit of us don't really have, the greatest attention span, but even if not after this, they go read up on it, but at least while watching it, they get to learn and be inspired, to enact change.
You, young man, you are definitely on the hot list. You really are. You're on the Ebony 100 Power List. You're getting you have other acting opportunities. You played Dylan James on the CW hit show All American. Tell everybody why they should check you out on All American.
Yes, All American got its 5th season. We're on the 5th season. So
okay, tell them.
You know what I'm saying? That should show that it's doing pretty good. So y'all got to check it out.
Oh, let me tell you something. My son and my husband, they watch All American faithfully. Okay. In this house, All American is on every season.
That's what's up. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Jalyn, I just want to let you know, I'm looking at the chat. Everyone's so proud of you. Yeah. They are so impressed by you, your demeanor, how you are, and they're excited to see this movie as we are. So I just want to give you your flowers and ask you, what can we expect next from you? I mean, you are booked and busy.
Yes. Season 5 is out now of All American. Till will be out nationally in just a few days. I have a movie called Bruiser that is coming out on Hulu. It was just shown at the Toronto Film Festival. And I also have a show coming to Disney Plus called The Crossover, which was originally an award-winning book by Kwame Alexander, now converted into a series.
Wow.
Yes.
You better keep on winning. Jalyn, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you check out Till in theaters everywhere on October 28th. And please make sure to follow this young king, young man, young star on social media.
Hey, can I ask just in closing, Jalyn, where can people find you at?
Yes, you can find me on all platforms at Jalyn Emil Hall. That's JALYN EMIL HALL, Jalyn Emil Hall.
Gotcha.
Thank
you.
You,
for you, baby. You doing
Thank
big things.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll be back with more Cocktails with Queens when we return.